All right, well, super excited to have a standout player who turned so many heads in her freshman season, or should I say her very first game of the season in her debut in Paris. So we're doing a preseason wellness check on. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Hannah Hidalgo. I'm a sophomore at the University of Notre Dame, and I'm representing New Jersey.
All right, now you racked up so many accolades from what AP All America, first team, ACC tournament champion, ACC tournament MVP, ACC Rookie of the Year, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, of course, the Don Staley Awards, and countless others. So, and you also broke the Notre Dame single season record in several categories, which is like 22.6 points a game. You led the nation in steals with 4.6 per game and have a total of 160 steals. So you are literally like the Cookie Monster. So, and major congrats to you for that. So, and that's not easy to do. And then when you looking back on that, you made it look easy, but what were you doing? How did you do this?
Yeah, I feel like ever since I was younger, I've always taken pride in, my defense. I was always told that, defense wins championships. On top of that, me being the smallest, I had to bring something else because, not being able to score over bigger girls as I was younger. So I had to find something else that I could do well that other players, weren't doing. And that was, my defensive tenacity, just being aggressive on defense and getting steals, getting stops. And I really took pride in that. So it's just something that I've always worked on.
So no one can say you're too little, basically, because I know how tall are you actually? I know the roster said has you listed at 5'6".
Yeah.
So I guess you're giving hope to some of the girls who may not be big in stature or as tall.
Yeah.
So let them know, like, hey, size doesn't matter. It's how big your heart
Yeah,
is.
of course. It's always hard over height. It's always been hard over height.
Most players favor offense over defense. So what made you flip the script and just say, like, I want to be different? Let me show you how to do both. Like,
Yeah, I think, my defense leads to offense. If you're able to get stops, then you can go and get fast breaks. You can score. So if I'm getting steals or, I'm getting deflections and I'm making the offense turn the ball over, I can be out and, score. And we can score the ball. So defense always leads to offense. So that's the great part of defense.
So basically, you could never say you had an off game because if because you're going to get it off of points regardless. But if my shot is off, I still have defense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was always told when I was growing up, you can never have a bad defensive game. You're gonna have games where the ball's not going in, where you're shooting bad, but you could always get stops and be aggressive on defense.
Right, exactly. And then how do you get minutes as a freshman? Because most freshmen just sit, if I'm not mistaken, unless you are one of those ones. So you obviously have to earn it and build trust with coach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think nobody ever comes in. You have to earn your spot. Your spot isn't guaranteed. Your minutes aren't guaranteed. No matter how high I was ranked, it didn't matter. And I think just in the preseason, during the summer, I think it's just the work that you put in and how you're working, during practice, especially as a freshman. You got to prove yourself to not only the coaches who recruited you, they seen your game, but also your teammates. You got to go out there and, prove yourself that you belong and be the hardest worker out there, the loudest person out there. Just doing what you got to do.
And then it kind of seemed like coaches let you do you because she knew what type of production you were going to have. So how important is that, making sure you went to the right school and that coach gave you the keys, basically, if you
I think the coach could really make or break somebody's career. So going and playing for a coach like Coach Ivy, who's given me just all the freedom that I could ever want. She knows what kind of player I am, how I might gamble on defense, or the shots I might take, and so she lets me play freely and lets me be who I am, and so that's big because she's a player's coach, first, and she takes care of her players. And so that connection, not only that we have on the court, but off the court is the biggest thing.
And then, of course, you faced South Carolina and had 31 points, and UConn as well and dropped 34. Like, how was that like? Were they circled on your calendar, or were you just ready for them?
Yeah, I think for South Carolina, I think just going in, I was just excited. It was my first collegiate game. It was in Paris. Everything was just exciting about that moment. My parents were there watching me. So I was excited to play. I prayed before every game. I prayed before that game specifically and asking the Lord, to just give me peace so that, I can go out and do what I have to do. And, the Lord just blessed me that game. It being my first game and dropping 30 points. And for UConn, it's a big rival game. I was excited. It was their whiteout. There were so many fans, like an hour before the game even started, and the stands were packed. They had their alumni, the WNBA players there, so it was fun. It was just exciting, and every game I just go out and just play the game of basketball.
And then, were any one of those your best memorable games from last season? And if not, which one was?
My most memorable game, I think UConn in the ACC championship. For one, it was my first championship, Coach Ivy's first championship, and so that was really exciting. Just kind of have that experience with my coach and my teammates. And then UConn was just fun because it was an away game. It was their alumni night, their whiteout, So everything about that, we won. We beat them by double digits. So it was just fun.
And then what was the transition like for you from high school to college?
It was different. I think just coming in and playing against grown men, I think was the biggest difference, because, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. So I think I would say that was definitely the biggest difference. But I wouldn't say it was too hard because I had the support system to kind of help me out.
Got it. So what was the most challenging and or easiest to learn as a student athlete?
Definitely time management. Knowing when you have to set time aside to do work, time aside to, still work out, and because, practice, getting up shots in practice isn't enough. So setting up time to do practice and, have your own workout time while also balancing, relationships and, friendships and stuff like that.
And then what was like your mindset and your goals coming in as a freshman? Like, did you have a chip on your shoulder and like trying not to be discouraged by the older players?
Yeah, I didn't come in with any expectations. I just saw it as another chapter in my life, just another day of playing basketball. And of course, I think preseason definitely helped me a lot because I had my teammates and my coaches, encouraging me the whole way through, saying like, hey, shoot the ball. We need you to shoot the ball. We need you to lead the team. Like, you have the keys. And so when you're hearing this, it definitely motivates you. And it motivated me to, want to play harder for my teammates and my coaches. And, it helped me.
So you were okay with having that much responsibility if they were saying, hey, we need you to do this, we need you to do that? Were you just like, yeah, okay, I could do it?
Absolutely. I knew the power that was behind me, having God on my side, it's nothing that I can't face. And so just having that, authority coming in, it was like no nerves. I wasn't nervous at all.
And then, like I said, practice when you were a freshman, like coming in with that much energy, was anyone like chill or, or I don't want to guard her? Or did it like raise your teammates' level of play? Like, I need to be better, or I need to be a better ball handler around Hannah?
Yeah, just coming in with that type of energy, I think it was very encouraging to my teammates when I'm able to, get stops and pick up full court. And, it just makes it easier on them. I always, my teammates would always say, I'm just standing here for a couple plays while you're just sitting there and being a pest on the ball. It's not much I have to do. So, it's exciting to make my teammates' lives easier, on defense when I'm doing that.
Now, when you did that, of course, during your college games, of course, no one really understands how much pressure you're applying except during the game time. So did you actually feel or see like, hey, these players really can't handle my smothering defense? Like, did you see it like as a turning point, like, oh, they're not ready for me?
Yeah, I always kind of try and come in with that mindset of, because I'm a guard and I know what makes me uncomfortable, ball pressure makes guards uncomfortable. So I kind of always have that mindset of, just make the ball handler uncomfortable. And that's, what I'm trying to do. And we have a lot of scouts. So I know who I can go and try and reach on and who I just need to contain. So I try and always come up with that mindset of I need to make the ball handler uncomfortable.
And then you are one of the few who actually picks up like 94 feet. Like, how are you able to play with so much intensity for all 4 quarters? Like, what do your workouts consist of?
Conditioning, for one. I think a lot of conditioning and just I think it's a mindset. Again, I've been blessed with the talent, and I'm like, I want the ball. So I want to get excited from getting stops, getting steals, getting deflections, making the ball handler turn the ball over, getting jump balls. I think that it really excites me and it gets my teammates going. I think it gets the fans going and it really helps us. So, it's just, I think, again, it's just a mindset. It's just a dog mentality.
I was going to say that. I know conditioning, we get that, but is it more so defensive slides? Because are your thighs burning after like trying to lock up all game?
Yeah, my dad, he used to have us do defensive slides and I hated them so much. Like just anything that worked on defense and staying low for a long period of time, I hated those drills, but of course they helped.
And then of course with your breakout freshman season you had, like, do you feel respected or do you feel that you're still slept on a little bit?
I think it's just I don't look at all that and who's mentioning me and who's not mentioning me. I just know that everything happens in God's timing. And so if people talk, people talk. If people don't, they don't. I'm just here to, play ball and give glory to God at the end of the day. So that's not something that I focus on. I'm just focused on playing ball.
And then I'm not going to lie, I wanted you to play Iowa so bad last year during the tournament because I just wanted to see you guard Clark and I wanted to see how she was going to respond and adjust to you. So who are you looking forward to playing this season? Because I see Southern California's on there, Texas and UConn.
Yeah, I'm always excited to play UConn. Again, that's a rivalry team. I'm also really excited. Yeah, Texas, all the schools you name, I'm really excited. I think those are going to be The fans are just going to be crazy. It's going to be really exciting. And, just the matchup is going to be really good, too.
Now, how many points do you think you would have contained Caitlin Clark for if you did have happen to, have played?
That's not something I can honestly say. But Caitlin Clark, she's a phenomenal player, so it's hard to say.
Fair enough. All right, now, who has been the toughest player you've had to defend and why? If not, just be honest.
I think Georgia Amore is always tough. She's a phenomenal guard, and she has overseas skill set, so she's always running around and moving. So I think she's pretty tough to guard. And the guard from Syracuse, she was tough to guard too. She had 30 on us both games. So
was that Daisha Fair, if I'm saying it right?
Daisha Fair, yeah.
What is your major?
I'm FTT, so that's film, theater, and television.
Okay. Trying to be an actress or commentator, broadcasting?
No, I'm getting through school right now, and honestly, after this, I would probably want to be a coach after my basketball career. I love the game of basketball, so just want to kind of stay in that field.
And then what do you do what do you do off the court? What are your hobbies?
Off the court, I just started cooking more. I've been cooking more, especially trying to save money too. So definitely been trying to cook more, eat kind of what we have here. But when I was home, I was more active because I had more time. It's not a lot of time as a student athlete. It's just it's either basketball or it's school, and then after that it's homework, and then you have a small time to relax. But I do a lot of reading the Bible. I think on my off time I try and get in and read the Bible because it's not a lot of off time that I have.
And then I know you said cook more, so what were you doing before? Were you doing a lot of DoorDash or Uber?
Buying out, yeah, absolutely. I was at the restaurants. I was buying all the time.
Where were you at? Chipotle, Taco Bell, or
Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Wendy's. I was all over.
And then for your mental health, what are you doing to take breaks away from basketball? Because it can be taxing during the season, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a lot, but I think it's important to get away from social media, especially during the season. It's a lot of people that hate you. It's a lot of people that love you. And so if you have a bad game, you're always going to have people that are, trying to bash you and stuff like that. I've been blessed to not really care, what the media says. That stuff really doesn't bother me, who's saying what and what's going on with this and that. I don't focus on the media because everybody's, behind the screen. So that's nothing I've ever been, concerned about. But I think it's good to get away from social media and have a really good support system. I have a great support system, and they really take my mind off of basketball. We can talk about anything that's not just basketball related, which we do for the most part. And so that's really good. And again, I pray. I do a lot of praying, and I think when I'm in my word, I think the Lord just gives me a different peace.
And then back on the social media tip, because I know I had reposted because it was just so much drama going on as far as the transfer portal. I know I had reposted. Somebody had tweeted out that you were transferring from Notre Dame. I was like, what? So I retweeted it. And luckily you responded, so I had to go and post it out there. How do you get word to that? And you're like, all right, let me just put this video out so people can be quiet.
Yeah, I was out at, I think, an award. I was getting some award, and I was in Cali, and I had seen people are calling me hey, you're transferring, whatever. And I was I didn't know I was transferring, so I don't know what's going on. And then, I was with Coach Ivy. She was with me when I was getting my award. So, I just ended up, putting it out there hey, we're still here.
Right. Stop running your mouths.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what are your expectations for this season? I know Miles is back. You added some size like Kate Koval, and everyone else is almost back healthy with West Bell joining in late on in the season. So, what are your expectations this season?
To win a championship, honestly, I think we have the skill set. We have the bodies now to do so. Of course, last year we struggled with injuries, and we had literally a starting five sitting out with injuries. And so now having all those girls back, I'm looking for a championship, honestly.
And then what did you work on this offseason and to add to your game?
Right now, I worked a lot on, of course, my left hand. And I've been in the weight room a lot. So a lot of lifting, a lot of 3-point shooting, extending my range, a lot of left hand.
Did you gain any weight?
Yeah, I've been getting a little muscle, in the weight room every day, getting a little muscle.
Just a little bit. Okay, gotcha. And then what advice would you give to incoming freshmen that want to see minutes on the floor and not the bench?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is your work ethic. If you're proving to your coach, that you belong, even with the older girls, it doesn't matter what age they are, if they're seniors, if they're fifth years, just going out and having that work ethic and just having that confidence in yourself. Yeah, you got to have confidence for sure. Honestly, being a college athlete, no matter what level, it's tough. It's, toll tasking on the body, and it's just a lot. So it's important to have a good support system who is constantly instilling confidence in you.
And then, have you been watching the WNBA?
Yeah, I watched a few games from the league.
What rookies have impressed you with how they transition, and what takeaways did you pull from that, or maybe learn from?
Oh, of course, Angel and Caitlin. I mean, we saw how Caitlin started off, and she was struggling at first, but the way she was able to shift and kind of figure things out, I think that was really impressive. And I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. Like, I love her game, and so kind of just watching how she transitioned was, just inspirational. Kind of seeing her struggle and her figure it out. That was really good to me, honestly.
And then, what's the difference from having your dad as a coach to now with Coach Ivy, like the expectations type?
I think the expectations are the same. I think my dad, he knew kind of the talent that God put in me. And, Coach Ivy knows the same. She's telling me she sees, kind of the talent that God put in me. So they expected the same thing. My dad expected me to go to college and, dominate. And Coach Ivy, she gave me the keys to do so. She knew what I could do. So both the expectations were the same. And it was helpful to kind of have my dad as the coach because he knew the skill set that I had and knew what I should be doing.
I want to go back to the nose ring incident last year in playoffs. Like, how upset were you, and what did you learn from that moment?
Of course, it was upsetting just being taken out of the game in that moment. But, I know, not to wear the nose ring now. It was just, it was a kind of learn and kind of move on from, what happened, and there's nothing I could do about it. But, it's just, everything happens for a reason and everything happens in God's timing. And it just wasn't my timing to, be out there on the court and, possibly advance to the next round. So, I just took it next couple days, and got right back in the gym, honestly.
So basically, no more nose ring during the game?
Yeah, no more nose ring during the game. I changed the nose ring and everything. We've been in the gym and we've been working ever since, the summer. So kind of just her game is phenomenal. It's unlike any other guard. I mean, the way that she's able to see the floor, her change of speed is honestly just unlike any other guard that I've seen. And so, kind of just playing with her up and down and just like seeing like how dangerous that we can be. I mean, we're faster, we can shoot. And so kind of having her, kind of lead us, at point guard is just going to be exciting.
Got you. So she's going to be passing you the ball.
We're interchangeable because, again, I'm 5'7". I played the one last year, and she's been playing the one here. And so she'll run plays, and going down, I'll run plays. And then, I'll push her to the two. I'll run the one, or she'll move me to the two. Then she'll run the one. And so it's just like biggest the rebound outlets it to whoever, and we play off of it.
Okay, well, great. All right, well, look forward to seeing you guys this season, and thank you for taking time out with me today. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.